Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Kale here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi light novel video. And it's crazy how much Sword Oratoria Volume 15 stuff we're able to get, because honestly, it feels like somehow everybody's got their hands on this book. It generally feels that way, that somebody has managed to get like almost every copy and every like store they've gone to. 3, 2, 1. Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Gale here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi light novel video. And it is absolutely insane how much Sword Oratoria Volume 15 content we've gotten in the last few days. In fact, what's even more special is that this time around, compared to normal, we're actually also getting the short stories relatively quickly. Previously, in previous years, previous months, whenever we've gotten a brand new light novel and the short stories attached with it, usually we might get one short story and then we have to wait for a while to get the other short stories. But these short stories are coming thick and fast. I genuinely believe a lot of people have gone out of their way to buy these books from various locations, from like Bookwalker and stuff like that. And so as a result of that, we do have access to a lot of these short stories. And today, what we're going to be taking a look at is, in fact, the short story featuring Loki. Now, of course, this short story is going to contain spoilers for Volume 15. And more specifically, it's actually also going to contain spoilers for the aftermath of Volume 15 and what we're going to be seeing leading into Volume 16 as well. So, of course, keep that in mind if you're watching this video, that this video will contain spoilers for the end of Volume 15 and what might be the start of Volume 16 before you get into this video, just so that, you guys are aware what you're getting into when you're watching this video. Of course, if you guys going to enjoy this one, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more content, and of course, as always, in the comment section down below, let me know your thoughts. I really wanted to actually make a video talking about your guys' theories. That will still be coming out. I'm just obviously going to have to wait until this video is out first and then record that video. So yeah, just continue to put your theories down below in the comment section, especially now that we know what Loki is up to as well, potentially. Put it in the comment section down below. What do you guys think is going to happen leading into Volume 16 of Sword Oratoria, and of course Danmachi main series Volume 21 as well? Put it in the comment section down below. Now, to be honest, I've said this in the previous video when we took a look at the Eyes and Bell short story, right? That I do believe that these short stories need to be in the main story. I don't understand why they're not, because it's insane what this short story is about. In all honesty, this Loki short story is super important because it is basically talking about how the rescue expedition came together and how Loki is forming it, basically. So again, I'm going to be leaving this in the description down below. You guys can check it out for yourselves as well. Big shout outs to obviously the lovely people that obviously got this to us. It was gotten from Reddit. Big shout outs to, of course, a Revolutionary Bet. I don't know if he got it from maybe the wiki or something like that. It's possible that might have been the case. Maybe the Discord as well. It's very likely that it could have been from one of those places. Maybe he has the book himself, or they have the book, I should say, sorry, themselves. But yeah, just keep in mind that, there are some amazing people out there who are doing an amazing job, of course, translating everything, making sure that we're getting the content, the community is getting the content. So once again, big shout outs to all of these guys. And I think without further ado, let's read through it quickly and see what's in store for us. So, of course, the title of this short story is The Other Side of the Final Battle. So in Sword Oratoria Volume 15, we know that Loki was watching alongside Felds and Uranos through the Oculus, right? We know that Loki was there alongside them, watching them and keeping an eye and observing them, seeing what was happening to just make sure that in case they needed help, they were ready to go, basically, right? And then the moment, of course, that, Eyes started getting cloned, basically, the moment the fairy monster brought forth the storm, as it suggests, right? And then, of course, when Finn hit Tirnanog, or the hero's spear, of course, right? Felds initiated Bullfight Operation, which is, of course, the operation, by the name that it suggests, is bringing Astraeus into the fight, and trying to basically protect the rescue operation team, as well as, of course, the rest of the people fighting at the time as well, making sure that they have the opportunity to maybe heal up a little bit, just get a little bit more time, and of course have some extra men and soldiers at the ready to take on the multitude of Eyes, basically. Now, of course, we know we know that that is a bit of a threat. In all honesty, it's a bit scary that the Xenoses have come into play, to be quite honest, because now that I'm thinking about it, after a couple of days of thinking, and again, this is why I needed time to digest everything that happened in volume 15, because now, a couple of days, I think it was like a day later or something after I read volume 15, after we made that video, the spoiler compilation, I immediately was like, wait a second, the Xenoses are partaking in the fight. That's very dangerous for the Xenoses, because you have to remember, Eyes is insane against monsters. This is a discussion we had in the How Strong is Eyes Wallenstein video, which you guys should go and check out. But this is a discussion we had back then as well, is that, yeah, Eyes might be decent against humans, but her MO, her big selling point, is her insane ability against monsters, thanks to her abilities like Avenger and stuff like that. This is very dangerous for the Xenoses to get into, because they are, at the end of the day, they are monsters. Yes, they have more sense, they are more sentient, but they're still monsters. And that makes them inherently weaker against Eyes. So it's a bit of a risk that, even, initiating bullfight operation, like Urano said, it's a bit of a struggle in that sense. But obviously, the main idea was to give the expedition team's retreat escape route an option. It was to establish it, of course, right? And that's what it did, of course, right? That's what it did. We saw Raoul come out, of course, right? And, Loki and Uranus were shouting at the same time. Fels immediately got into action the moment he heard their shouting and initiated a bullfight operation, a worst case scenario plan, basically, which makes a lot of sense on that front as well. Loki glanced at Uranus, and then obviously Jed immediately dashed out, of course, right, once Uranus gave him the nod. And, the situation was worse than imaginable. Yet even so, the heroes roared defiantly against the imagined end of the gods. Loki, overwhelmed by anger and impatience, couldn't help but be moved. If the ice planes hadn't activated at the worst possible moment, the heroes would surely have secured victory. She refused to voice this forced optimism out loud, because it wasn't over. Hope still remained. There were still the unknown and the hero's myths that could land a punch on the insightful god's face. It's not over, not over. Not a single one of my blessings has disappeared yet. So at this point, the Loki Familia is intact. At this point, the executives are still alive. Everybody is still fine so far. Even Eyes is still fine. Not just Eyes, the girl taken by that damn fallen fairy, but also the Familia members who fell one by one in that vast space. Fairy, by the way, and here is the elf. Again, I do think Loki is right in a way. I think without the interference of Revis, if there was no 7th Revis, this wouldn't have happened, because obviously then we wouldn't have had Eyes obviously envisioning the horrible death that Levinas Darda had experienced all those years ago, 900 years ago. And as a result, the ice planes wouldn't have reactivated to protect Eyes, right? And so in that sense, it probably would have leaned a little bit more in the favor of the expedition team, the alliance. But yeah, it still happened. Now is the time to obviously figure out everything, basically. The blessings that signaled the deaths had not begun to decrease. Loki, connected to her adventures through divine blood, now ran around doing everything she could. What was needed was reinforcements. Though the Eve crystal entrusted to Finn had shattered, leaving the situation on the 60th floor unknown, those who could still move in such conditions had only one choice: retreat. Hot-blooded and irrational decisions to rescue comrades like Eyes or seek hopeless revenge would inevitably arise. But even if Finn and the others can't send their voices out, there's still Raoul. So Loki had enough faith in Raoul at this point, and this is what it goes on to say, is that Loki had enough faith and had enough trust in Raoul that he would make the right decision between the choice of a hero and coward, and that he would immediately go for the coward route to make sure that he would return in order to save the others, basically. I think that it goes to show as well, right? A lot of people, especially if you've only watched the anime, right? Loki has improved a lot, and not only has she improved a lot, but she's always been like this, more so, to be quite honest. This is how Loki has always been. Loki has always been super understanding of her own family members. She's probably one of the better gods and goddesses out there that understands their familia and understands the human nature of the family members very well. A lot of people may think of Loki as this joking god who who doesn't really care too much about her familia, but that's not true. That's not true at all, especially when you read Oratoria, when you read through all the light novels, all the manga, whatever you're reading through. she knows a lot and she understands a lot as well. And so I'm very happy that obviously Omori is continuing with that in the short story. Again, I think that this should have been in the main story. This is clearly main story worthy content in my opinion, but it is what it is. That's why Loki ran around Oratoria after the grand feast of the Colosseum, contacting everyone. Sharing the worst case scenario, Hermes and Ganesha, though initially shocked, offered their assistance. So Hermes and Ganesha familia are already in. Hephaestus and the others who lend their familiars members, their responses varied. Some gently placed a hand on her shoulder, while others, like Diansect, delivered a swift double kick and moved on. Until the final result was clear, until the expedition team returned, Loki worked tirelessly, ensuring no chaos spread in the city, while urgently constructing an escape route from the dungeon to the surface. I'll make sure Hedin and the others are ready too. If we are to honor the heroes, it's now our turn. So clearly Hedin and the others are going to be involved as well. I mean, this is kind of like following a lot of our theories going around. I've seen some of your theories already as well in various platforms and also in my comment section. I think a lot of us know that it's probably going to be Belle, Hedin, Lafia, potentially Haruhime, of course, for supportability. Heath is probably going to be there as well for healing as well. Otarl might join in. We might see Alan and the Gulliver brothers coming in as well, potentially. We'll probably see a lot of the Freya familia coming into play, basically, right? We know Belle's going to be coming into play. We know Asfi potentially will be there as well. Ryu will definitely be there as well. So we know that people who are missing, who weren't part of the expedition, Shakti as well, they're definitely going to be there. So it's good to see that that's going to happen. The simple street girl working in the tavern, as if an old acquaintance linked by fate, spoke of her resolve without comfort of pity. Loki gave no reply, only a nod before leaving. So even Freya is like, yep, we're 100% doing it. We're going to be doing it. In the end, she owed a favor to that goddess of Hearth. So yeah, because of the link between Seer and Hestia, the whole thing, of course, right, with the Freya family war games and everything, it makes sense. Exhausted from using her connections and running herself ragged, Loki stopped in her tracks. The number of blessings had decreased by one. She didn't know who it was. Another one gone. Yet another. They kept diminishing. So at this point, it seems like I would say that this is more so from Raoul's party, because we know that during Raoul's return from the 60th floor, I should say, all the way to the first floor, we know that there were a lot of family members losing out. We know there was like a couple of Freya family members, a Diansect family member, a lot of Loki family members as well, some Hephaestus family members as well, in their retreat, unfortunately lost their lives. So I assume this is what Loki's feeling. So in theory, the main members are still there as of right now. Loki clenched her fist with all her strength, radiating a killing intent that would make anyone swallow nervously and step back, waiting. After doing everything she could for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, no matter how long, she waited. So this is the thing, right? I am very interested in seeing exactly how long has passed by and have they been still fighting? Have they managed to retreat to a safer location at least, so that they are staying away from the ISIS? How long can ICE hold on for as well? Because if it has been a couple of days, and this is the problem I had with the dungeon aspect, and this is the reason why you can tell that this is the first time in a long time Royman was right. They should have waited for the elevator. The retreat would have been so much smoother. The reinforcements would have been coming in at hotter speeds. Yeah, I think this is a big concern, a bit of a concern in the sense of how long it's been. Because if it's taken 4 days to come back, or 5 days to come back, it says 5 days ahead of time. 5 days to come back, 5 days to go down, potentially. Or maybe 4 days if you're rushing in and, you know, you're just going all in kind of thing, right? Still, at the entrance of the dungeon, connected closely to the great hole beneath Babel Tower, they'll definitely return. My children of the family will definitely make it back. She believed this more than anyone else. And to prove it, she waited. On the 5th day, bathed in blood-red exhaustion, as the broken remnants returned, at the forefront of the group stood the greatest coward, who was more regretful, remorseful, and frustrated than anyone else. The goddess greeted him, keeping those words to herself. Sorry, thank you. You did well, Raoul. Yeah, that's the short story. It tells us a little bit in terms of the fact that the blessings, according to Loki familiar, or Loki's own inherent, like, you know, connection to her own family members, it seems like they're still fine. Those at the bottom of the dungeon are still fine. But for how long? We don't know. There's 5 days to go. There's 5 days basically that they have a maximum of in order to get down. At most, it'll take them 5 days to get down minimum. If you're running through and you've got the likes of Otarl and everybody, you know, just scything through a lot of the monsters. Same with Belle as well and everything, right? You know, especially, you know, with Belle's emotions at an all-time high as well. You're gonna probably see Loki'S Freeze at an working overtime as well and everything. You're probably gonna see them running through the dungeon probably in like 3 or 4 days, right? In theory, that's still a lot of time. That is still a lot of time. Expecting them to fight for days on end, trying to, you know, protect themselves. Not to mention they're obviously dealing with the wounded, you know, in the form of Tiona and stuff. Ahmed is still there. We have to remember that Ahmed is still there with them, you know, in the 61st floor, because they've fallen down to the 61st floor, right? We know Ahmed is there with them. So Ahmed is there to heal them as much as that she can, of course, right? With how much mind and magic she is capable of using. It's going to be very interesting. And this is something that I feel if they'd done in the epilogue, it would have been insane to see, because then we wouldn't have even known how many people were dying. We would have just known that her blessings were going down. That would have been even more intense, because then it would have been like, oh shit, is actually the executives dying and stuff? But because we know that along the way they lost members, this kind of tells us that she's more so feeling the blessings that she was diminishing, were more so the people that were coming down out of the dungeon, basically to try and obviously get reinforcements, right? To try and get people to go and rescue the rest of the Loki familia. But yeah, I'm very excited to obviously see what will happen in the next book, of course, right? This again adds into it. I do wonder what other short stories we'll have. I'm gonna have a look and see if other people have managed to obtain other short stories. Usually per light novel we get 4 short stories, right? Usually. So I want to see if we can find the other 2. I'll have a look, and if anybody knows, of course, put in the comment section down below. Maybe I can make a video talking about it and stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below. I'm very excited to see how things are gonna pan out, of course, right? In my opinion, I think we're gonna see some deaths, 100%. There's no doubt about it. The question is it gonna be any of the main protagonists? And when I say main protagonists, I mean, you know, the main cast members: Tiona, Tione, Bet, Gareth, Riveria, Finn, Eyes, so on and so forth, right? Those are the main casts I'm talking about. Will we see one of them? Some of you guys have been suggesting some people's names. Keep at it. I want to see some more theories from you guys. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of this short story. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.